I'm so excited to be back and join in another fabulous conversation with pop culture with my co-hosts, my beautiful queens above and beneath and right and left of me. We've got Georgia, me, Candace, and Elle. Let's do our quick introductions before we get into today's recap of pop culture events and all things reality television from an exquisite Black lens. We are so excited to share our opinions. So I'll toss it to Georgia. Let's see. We got Georgia
Hey
here.
world, it's your girl Tamika Harper, also known as Georgia Me, and I'm in this bitch. I am a award-winning poet, activist, and I am a reality head, and it's my honor to give my take on all things pop culture. I'm gonna hand it over to my girl Candace.
Hey, it's Candace Candy Kane, and I'm back. Long-time reality show watcher. Love all the things. Let's get into some reality. Let's go, Elle.
Hey everybody, excited to be here this evening. Can't wait to talk about this reality TV foolishness going on. And I think we're going to start off with some hot topics before we get into this housewives drama. So I'm going to take it back to Megan to bring up our first hot topic.
Thank you, Elle. Ladies, this is exactly right. So we're going to try to shake up our traditional format. We're trying something new as we're getting our footing on these YouTube streets, right? And Beyonce's internet. We're going to kick off the show today and talk about some hot topics that have been going on in pop culture. This week, hot on our agenda, we've got three things we'd like to discuss. And then we'd like to also open up the lane of conversation and pop culture exploration with other shows we're watching on TV. We have been talking about two of our favorite staple shows on Bravo, which are Real Housewives of Atlanta and, of course, Summer House Martha's Vineyard. But ladies, audience, y'all know we watch all the reality TV, all types of trash goodness, all types of ridiculousness. So this is our space to talk about them and how they're impacting our lives and how they're impacting popular culture. So before we get into that, let's dial it back, just like Elle said, and talk about some of our hot topics. This week's episode, we want to talk about three, as I mentioned before. The first one I'll pose to the group and audience at large. Let's chit chat about the latest share from Aoki Simmons. I believe a couple of days ago, it went viral when she, on Father's Day, let it spill that she's not having the best relationship with her father after her mother, the infamous Kimora Lee Simmons, shared as well that she's not having the best relationship with her ex-husband, Mr. Russell Simmons. Russell Simmons is known for being the leader and the head of Def Jam, the iconic record label from the 80s and 90s. He's since had a myriad of other business ventures, inclusive of formulating and founding the iconic now Def Poetry Jam on Broadway. And our dear friend Georgia Me was a featured world famous founding poet, spoken word artist, traveled all over the world and did a stint on Broadway. Come through, receipts.
Yes.
And I would love for Georgia to give us a little bit more insight. Well, first, if any of the ladies wanted to just also pepper in your thoughts about the pop culture take. And then we would also like to zero in on what Georgia would think as you worked firsthand with Russell Simmons. You may or may not have some popular opinion or unpopular opinion that you wanted to share around this hot topic. The topic being Russell Simmons is now being vilified as a poor father, an abusive ex-husband, and withholding his money and using his financial status to weaponizing it against his wife and his two daughters. So, ladies, Georgia, have at it. What do you think?
Well, as someone who has a little, I don't have a lot. A lot of people claim to have a lot of insight, but Russell's always been cheap. Russell has always claimed broke. He has always said, I don't have money. He has always behaved the same way, except it was of an advantage to those people then because of his relationships. And that's the same thing his daughter said. She was like, I want my career, but she knows her father's relationships. Mm-hmm. You feel what I'm saying? So, of course, it is horrible for anyone, not let alone your father, but anyone to try to hold over you anything to keep you from furthering your career and your dreams. But I'm not surprised. I'm not, when all of the accusations went out, you know, Megan, that I wasn't one who was like, yeah, they right. No, because I watched women jump over children to get to Russell Simmons. Mm-hmm. I have a personal friend who wanted to come out with a story, but I know how she personally benefited from this man after he so-called assaulted her. See, sometimes people let you do things and you don't say nothing because of the power they in. That's on you. I bowled that nigga when he touched my ass. I don't play with no motherfucking body. I don't give a fuck about a check. I give a fuck about my respect. So I say that, Kimora, your parents basically gave you to Russell Simmons.
In high school. I think
in high school. Yes, ma'am, in high school.
Let's keep this shit real.
High school.
Aoki is a beautiful spirit. You can tell it. Ming, they beautiful kids, and Kimora raised some beautiful daughters. She's a one
too. Let's give them all of their receipts.
One of them just graduated from Harvard.
Double degree, 2 degrees.
And I'm saying I don't take nothing from her, and I don't take nothing from her, but I think he may be going through dementia.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also understand his old school, go my way, highway type of mentality. He has no regard for anyone, really. Y'all, I mean, he pulled the rug from up under me twice. You know what I'm saying? When we asked him, we said, Russell, whatever you do, please don't shut our show down like you did the last time, because you know we set up our worlds and we hold y'all in regard. We turned down everything, we set up our life, and he said, I ain't gonna do it to you, and whap, did it again. So you know, I'm a person who just worked for him and worked with him. I thank God for everything I learned that was good. Oh my God, I thank God for all the exposure and experiences I had because I worked with this man. But this is a man. And that's my problem with the world. You put too much faith and everything into people. They are human. They are flawed. And then when you let them get away with so much shit, then you want to complain when it's too much shit. I don't like a little bit of shit. You feel?
Yeah.
A little bit of shit stink. Okay? So that's my take on that. I'm praying for Aoki. She's a beautiful spirit. And Kimora, you know, you doing the best. I wish people wouldn't air out shit on the internet. I hate that.
I would like to stop right there as well, if I may. I didn't interrupt you too. I think that's a great thing to stop. But when we go deeper on a lot of our topics, that is huge. The fact that happened on Father's Day, and then the world is now privy to all of you all's intimate business for media fodder, I felt a little heartbroken around that. It got a little heartburn around that. Because sometimes, you know, and all families have problems. Let's be very clear. Like, no family is perfect by any stretch. And people act out and do, you know, act outside of character more often than not. But it's just really sad that at 2023, like, that's our everyone's now. It's not even just hers. Even Russell Simmons knee-jerks and goes to live. Kimora too. Is that our knee-jerk reaction as a society now? Is to, let me tell you how I feel, let me go live.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's knee-jerk reaction at all. I think it's people want that public validation. You guys agree with me. See how I'm right? Like, they want that validation at some point. Now, some people need it every day, or some people, because they just get so fed up, they feel like I need to get the public's opinion. I have to get them on my side. And I think that's what Aoki and Ming and even Kimora. I mean, let's think, you know, Kimora is an old school reality girl, right? I mean, she had her own show back in the day, Fab Life. I watched that. The girls were really small then. This is before her numerous marriages and her sons, but that's old school. So she's accustomed to constantly sharing her life. I don't know what's the last show she's been a part of, but she's kind of just been raising her kids for a while, right? But shit's hit the fan and she's like, I can't anymore. I don't have a TV show platform. I'm saying this shit on IG. This is where I'm taking it.
Rip me off the platform.
You take it to IG.
Yeah.
You go live because you want the public to hear it and get on your side.
And she said something too. She said that he be buying flowers and saying it from her.
I heard that. I said, what?
Andy would say the lies.
You know, I think that he's kind of caught up in perception as well too. So he wants us to have this yoga, I am above it all type perception. And then at the same time, too, I think to your point, Georgia, he's getting older. He may be struggling with, some memory issues. It hasn't been a good market. So we know, he may be having some money problems, right?
Oh, he screams that he's broke all the time. I don't know where his money went, but he swears he doesn't have it.
Because the market is tight too. So he's not really doing much. So if he was investing his money, then you know what I'm saying? Like he very well could be having some money problems with his investments that he had in the past. So I think, and then your daughters are grown at this point. Daddy be like, "Hey, get off my, you grown. I done paid all this money for you. You grown." So I think it's a lot going on with him, and he's aging and he's acting out. I know he was really upset about some of the investments that went wrong with Kimora and her current husband, no, her ex-husband now, right? I think he sued her. Did he not sue her? I think he did.
He tried to get his shares back or something.
Right.
Yeah. That was a mess.
Yeah. So maybe that was one of the last ditch efforts for him to make some money. And he's bitter, obviously, with Kimora about that. Yeah. I think a lot of men, considering that's his ex-wife, he got her when she was real young. He thinks that he can still control her. He doesn't have that ability anymore. And he may be bitter about that as well, too. So I think it's just a combination of a lot of things. And unfortunately, he's human. Everybody's human. And the girls are suffering from his attitudes and his little old man drama that he got going on. Unfortunately, but I think that was a cry for help from the girls. I really, my heart goes out to them, because obviously for them to have put that on social media, considering that those girls are very sweet and, private kind of young ladies, they're not out there like that. So that was a cry for help, in my opinion. And I hope they got it out, and I hope that their family works, internally together to solve the healing that they need to have, in their family, with the lawsuit, all of it, right? How the girls are feeling about their daddy, everything.
A lot.
Now, I know we can't talk about this forever, but Aoki was like, and the things he was saying about my mother, no one wants to hear those type of things about their mother. Mm-hmm. And I bet I know some of them things that man said, because allegedly Kimora was thotting while she was married to Russell. Okay, so I mean, he got ammo on her, real talk, because she embarrassed the fuck out of him.
Yeah. If I may interject right here, though, even if allegedly, truth aside, let's just pause right there, because I can play devil's advocate. Do we know how many scorned men there are in this world that are quick to say something about their ex after they've been rejected? Don't worry, I'll wait. I mean,
people, period. Yeah.
People, period, but then especially, I'm not even trying to give Russell any runway. I'm just suggesting you don't have to be Russell Simmons and Kimora to have your ex try to tarnish you and trash your everything to anybody that could listen. So when he started doing all that, I really empathize, because I know so many personal examples of when a man is scorned, and even when they have children involved and they want to demonize the ex-wife or the old baby mama, and but they were good enough for you to deal with when you wanted to do what you were doing. So Kimora was good enough for a very long time, gave him two beautiful children.
That and we're sure that Russell wasn't an angel either.
So of course, but that's toxic masculinity. You got to make it out there that the woman, she's such a terrorist. Mm-hmm. She had an affair.
Yeah,
that's all I was suggesting. It's such toxic masculinity. I mean, the oldest trick in the book.
Yes.
Next topic, ladies, bring it on. Let's go. I like this.
Come on, Elle.
Okay, so speaking of allegedly things happening, and I'll put it this way, unfortunate things that have been happening in the media lately concerning young women, I did want to bring up the recent allegations around Sukiana from Love and Hip Hop Miami, and I think, what was the young man's name? What was his name?
YK Osiris.
YK Osiris. Thank you, YK Osiris. And then there was something going on with Candy's DJ, to bring it back to Real Housewives, and A1, right? On Candy's show that came back, circled back around because of the what we witnessed that happened to Sukiana on camera. So I'll start it off. First off, what I want to be very clear on is the fact that it does not matter what type of work that you do, right? If you are in the sex industry, right? If you are wearing whatever it is that you're wearing as a woman, right? If a man approaches you in a way that you don't like, okay, that is a problem, period. Men need to respect boundaries. So I'm not going to entertain that Suki was a sex worker, that Suki talks about sex a lot. If Suki did not want those men and felt uncomfortable with the way that those men approached her, that's a problem, right? The other thing that I did want to mention too is the backlash that I think Candy got, because I think that's relevant for this conversation with Housewives as well, because she got a lot of backlash in regards to the way that A1, her co-host, came off at Suki, and that she had some allegations previously, and she's been very sensitive about, the allegations that she had in regards to some sexual, things that were going on. We're not going to go there with Phaedra and, Portia, but, people felt like Candy is always caught up in these situations where she goes over, right, the boundaries of what people are comfortable with sexually. I know last season it was an issue with her with the vibrating panties, right, that Kenya didn't like, right? So I wanted to know what you ladies thought about the issue with Sukiana, right? But then also I wanted to explore what happened in the backlash that Candy Burruss Tucker, got in the media, right, for the incident with A1.
I'll go because I'm a Sukiana fan. Like I loved her from Love and Hip Hop Miami. I love her, some of her songs, or her IG or TikTok persona. I actually think she's very funny. And I think because I do see different clips of her in different places, I also know that that's kind of a persona of hers. Like she talks that really sex nasty, talk, but it's a persona. And it was cringeworthy for me to see YK Osiris like kissing on her, because it was a constant like, no, stop. And he just kept on. It was like, ugh, I don't care what my girl Sukiana say. At some point, like he should have like, oh, okay, let me back away. Whatever we were doing before, like in this moment, no meant no. She had enough. I would have loved for, the other men that was standing around her, like tap him on the shoulder. Okay, bro, let's lighten it up. Even with the conversation with DJ A1 on Candy's show, when she basically says like, not right now. Yes, I've said different things, and yes, we've maybe had this banter, but not right now. Chill out. I'm trying to have a conversation with you and Candy. So it's a thin line, but it is a line. And I do not believe just because she has this overly sexually nasty, I'm gonna say whatever persona, that men feel like they can just do whatever to her or say it whatever to her. I think it's inappropriate. So that was my take on it. And as far as Candy, like, yeah, Candy, she falls into that space. I've never looked at Candy as a girl's girl type of woman. And I think she kind of says that sometimes, or we're kind of getting more about that and out of her personality as she's on these shows and these podcasts and things. So it's still Kandi in the sex dungeon. Like, that's out there now. That's just a thing, and people kind of run with it. So people aren't surprised when she is caught up in these sexually related stories, especially against women. She was attached almost a little bit with the T.I. and Tiny type of situation. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't care what you do. You can be a sex worker. You can be a porn star. I fuck who I want to fuck when I want to fuck them. I kiss who I want to kiss when I want to kiss them. Get your monkey ass away from me. It don't matter who it is, period. He just a duck. He a lame. It ain't got nothing to do with her persona, I feel. He was just trying. He might have tried it because of her persona.
Yeah.
But I just think he that type of dude. You know what I'm saying? And as far as Kandi and A1, it's Kandi Coded Nights. It's all about sex. The conversation is always about sex. It's not about your music career. Okay? So he was, and she goes there. So he went there first in that arena. That's all I'm saying. I don't feel nothing was wrong with A1 said. Yeah, it wasn't good to say. It wasn't that nobody would want nobody to say to them, but based off of the show that they're on. We not on Speak On It. We on Kandi Coded Nights. We not on Versus. We on Kandi Coded Nights, where she damn near built her dildo empire. So
dildo empire.
That's what she got. And I mean, I think that she's an easy target when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? Because she's always been so open about her sexuality, what she do. So that's why. And I just pray she keep it moving. But Sukihana, I don't care what you say, what you do. No means no.
Yeah.
And her body said it. What kind of duck ass nigga keep on trying to kiss somebody and it's being filmed? Mm-hmm. That's what's crazy to me. This ain't at a club. This is on a panel. And I agree with you too, Candace. But I think that the other men didn't say nothing because they don't know her to be respectable. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about that though. Real talk. I understand. But if she had any kind of respect about herself for real and wasn't a clown, those brothers would have did something. I promise you.
But I almost felt like he did that for the male gaze. Because I honestly feel like he did that because he kept looking, right? He was looking at them to see how they were going to respond. So I feel like he even did all of that, not necessarily because he was trying to go after Suki. It was because he wanted their approval.
Everything men do is for most of our young men are gay, not homosexual like Megan want to make them. I'm talking about everything that they do is based off the opinions of another nigga.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah, I mean, we can agree on that. Like 90% of the things that men do are homoerotic.
I didn't say homo.
I did. They do a lot of homo things and then want to be the first ones. But I'm not gay. I'm not gay.
But they don't know it's the only love that they have been taught is safe.
Very true.
Keeping it real.
No intimacy. There's like a whole spectrum. So that's why I say that.
My heart will break, but if this nigga break out, I'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good points. Good points.
I don't know.
Your point, Megan. You ain't say nothing.
Well, I think we kind of beat it over the head. Respectability, politics are kind of out the window. Bottom line, when a woman wants to invite you in her space, she lets you know. You either are invited with consent, like you get a verbal, come on in, I want you close to me, I want you in my space, or your body language will say yes. Anytime that you get any pushback, I think we should start teaching men this more so than women. That's your no. You don't if you don't get a yes, anything but an assured yes, or I want you to come closer, or I want you to talk about my ass crack, or I want you, talk about how you're gonna, do all sorts of inappropriate sexual things, because that's my fetish or that's my kink. Anything outside of a strong yes is your no. And in 2023, I'm still kind of scratching my head as to why there's any kind of ambiguity or access for a pass, for miscommunication, misunderstanding. I don't care what your line of work is, unless someone, and that's actually goes both ways, gender be damned. People should invite you into their space, and consent is like, that's the baseline now. It's 2023. Consent is the baseline. You can do whatever you want to do so long as someone is okay with it, right? Suki was clearly not okay in any of those situations. And with the Kandi example, Georgia made an excellent point. The context matters.
Mhm.
However, I think because consent is the baseline, is the new baseline now, and Kandi has had several examples where she has been checked around not only consent or complacency or complacency or just going along to get along. Whether or not you're the leader or not, you can still get lumped into things just being a bystander. So sometimes no opinion is the opinion, and that is your answer. So in the example of it being on her platform, posted on a platform where your guest is clearly feeling uncomfortable, for you to be a bystander or a host and simply chuckle it off, I feel like that is a violation. I don't give a shit if it is a sex show. You should make your guests feel comfortable. If your guests can leave and feel at any point that they weren't respected, then that you should be held
Have
at fault.
you seen Sukiyana though? Like, this is my thing though. I'm just saying. This girl says the most outrageous shit, and it's all a lot of times sexuals. Talking about blowing bubbles up niggas' ass, all kind of shit. And let me tell you what happened is she's usually the oppressor.
Well, she does have her OnlyFans, so we've seen her vomit.
We leave Georgia?
Maybe
Might
she
as well.
lost power or something.
Hope we get Georgia back.
Yeah.
I was appreciating this commentary. We'll have to put a pin on that one until we get Georgia back. Unfortunately, we lost her for a quick
Yeah,
second.
maybe she needs to plug up her laptop.
All right, let's get into that third topic before we delve into these Real Housewives of Atlanta, honey. What's our third hot topic for today? I think we were going to talk about the fact that Monique Samuels and Chris Samuels officially announced for the third time, yet again, that they are indeed calling it quits. One of our favorite housewives couples, and by our, I mean mine, are no longer going to be a couple. They're not going to be coupled up. They are telling the world in the state of Maryland, they are no more.
And
What do
this
you
is
ladies think about that?
Real Housewives of Potomac and Love and Marriage DC.
Yes,
DC.
thank you, Candace. We've seen Monique in 2 different reality television shows now. She and her husband, and her 3 children, their parrot, a second parrot, a dog, a cat, estates, her rap career. We've seen it all.
4 houses. Remember, she got 4 houses.
4. But they are no more. Ladies, what do you all think about this recent announcement and another one of our Black couples going kaputs?
Well, it's a shame that I hate to see any couple go through a divorce. However, I'm not surprised. I don't think any of us are surprised. That woman didn't love that man. She never did love that man. And you know, I feel bad for you, Chris. I do, because I think you're a good, solid dude. I hope you can find a young lady that your mama likes, that your mama likes, and that loves you, boo. That's all I got for you.
Yeah, I would have to say I'm not surprised. I hope it's real this time because we've been here before with them. But I think it's so interesting that a lot of people are like Team Chris, like, you know, we want the best for him, or, you know, she never liked him. That's kind of surprising. Not that I don't disagree with those things, but everybody, we're not giving Monique the love, except maybe Megan. But and I actually somewhat liked her at the beginning when she was on Potomac. Then she kind of wasn't my friend, and I didn't like her. But and I don't think I liked her at all on Love and Marriage DC. So we'll see. We'll see.
I'm here for the Samuels. They just had a miracle baby. There's like they have a little child now, respectfully. So it's got to be very difficult. But there's so many rumors circulating around this marriage that even played out on television, like infidelity.
Any guesses on what was the final straw? Was there infidelity? Is it money? What's going on this time?
I'm speculating they've just tried and tried, and Monique has had enough. I don't know. None of us know. But the way that they presented it on the show, it just seemed like Chris was much more invested in trying to make it last, make it work. And Monique kind of had a foot out. She was kind of inching out. It just felt that way on the show. And then she came back and they made statements like last summer or last fall, like, we are popular, against, contrary to popular belief, we are working on our marriage. It's difficult, but we're in it. We're going to stick it out. That's my man. I'm gonna stick beside him. And then this came. So I guess didn't work out.
Will we see her back on reality TV?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It'll be in a whole nother capacity, similar to a Kim Zolciak. In the same way that Kim Zolciak is going to try to remodel her career. Not that I don't think anybody cares. I do think there's going to be a space for Monique, especially because she's besties with Carlos King. I feel like he will find a narrative for her, a platform for her, a voice for her, similar to how he's rallied behind Melody.
Yeah.
Melody
Really?
Sharif. Absolutely. He loves Monique.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they'll be like exes. Maybe they'll have a divorcee show.
The two of them together, I can already see it.
They can add quad to it.
Oh, come on. I can already see his mind moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's my theory.
Exes. Reality exes.
Because Melody's doing nothing on Love and Marriage Huntsville. She's just now thinking about the boyfriend. I don't think any of the audience is truly invested because we still want her with Martell. So I don't know how this is going to work.
I want her off. I'm so tired of Melody.
Everybody puts the two of them together on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Like they can't get away from that's my take. Even on the reunions, they get the same bullshit ass questions about, are y'all gonna get back together? Y'all gonna be in love? Y'all know y'all really love each other. So I just feel like in order for her to escape all that, they're gonna have to just leave the show. Either he's gonna have to leave or she's gonna have to leave. And I think it's gonna be her, just to do something completely different. Because if anything outside to that, it's too messy and boring. And it's going to always be about the two of them.
I think she needs to leave because her cats don't like her anyway. Those girls don't like her. So she
like her.
Yeah.
I don't think she likes them.
And she can't move on. Like she's too wrapped up in the hurt, but she's still hurt. And which it's a big hurt. I can get that. But she girl, let it go and move on. Because everybody else is moving on.
Yeah.
Everybody else wants to talk about other stuff and she still wants to hold a grudge or not. Like that energy, we don't even want to see it. I'd rather even see Martell with the Sheree to come over there, or with Sheree to come over to Huntsville. I'm over Melody is nothing.
Or the baby mama, even the baby mama.
Ooh, I would have loved to see her. Ariane. Ooh.
That was a hit. She was going to come on the show, but we never saw Ariane.
I would have loved to see her. There's still room for that, Carlos.
Mm-hmm. Carlos, maybe you need to do that and just give Melanie a show.
Well, since we're here with Martell and Sheree, let's get right into the Real Housewives with respect to this slow ass season. So, ladies, we are 2 episodes we can combine and condense. We can wrap this up. We've got 2 episodes to catch up on and get your thoughts and opinions on the highlights so far from News, the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I just want to remind everyone, this is one of their record-breaking lows of a season. The collective outcry from the audience all over the globe is we're all bored. And there's been several pushes. I think we've got Georgia back for a recast and asking for Andy and team to think about different production directions for the upcoming year because this season is such a struggle to get into. So we're 2 episodes out. Let's start with the highlights as we get Georgia back in. I'll work on that technical. Let's see, Candace and Elle, what are your highlights in the last 2 episodes, if any? Let's go for it.
I'll go. So from, I guess, episode 6, which I guess the highlight was the beat the bomb, where they met and had I guess it wasn't a dinner, but this was Courtney's event. Mm-hmm. And you had this huge blow up with Kenya and Marlo. Not Candy and Marlo. I was really over it. I actually thought that Candy was 10 times more aggressive than Marlo. Everybody
I
hates
think so too.
Marlo. Everybody hates Marlo. Audience hates Marlo. You guys know I like Marlo, but I felt like Candy was entirely 10 times more aggressive than Candy. I took a little notes. I really felt like Drew was instigating the situation there. I hate Drew's language around women being aggressive. She attacks. I hate that Drew does that. She's done that
Yeah.
several freaking episodes this time. And I just want to make a point. I don't think that Marlo was trying to attach her nephew being killed to OLG. I honestly think Marlo just wanted the compassion that she would have shown. And I don't know if anybody had, a moment to watch Sonia on Carlos's podcast.
I tried.
I think it was a great point that she made that Marlo has a problem with everybody should do things that I would do. If I hear that someone in your family passed, I am going to come to your house with flowers, a gift. I'm going to do something like that. Marlo is a huge gift giver.
Yeah.
And when that's not reciprocated to her, she's devastated. And she cannot understand that. Why wouldn't you call my sister to give your condolences? Because I would do that at the very least. I may show up with a Chanel bag and flowers because that's her. So she has to realize everybody's not like that. And that kind of came out this particular episode 7. Candy was like, fuck your flowers. I'm not a sentimental girl. That's not Candy. Candy's also cheap. So, but Marlo's just got to understand it. But I do think that Candy could have met her, even when, they showed the flashback of when they were there with Riley. I think she could have met her with some compassion. I don't think that it would have been too much. Even if it's compassion, and that is all Marlo wanted. That's all she still wants in this whole situation. So that was my highlight, I think, from 6 was the whole fight, because Candy was off the chain.
I think we got Georgia back. Look
right.
Let's test it. What do you think about the Housewives? I mean, just testing the audio. I'm not trying to interrupt.
Okay. No. Y'all. Why it went dead? I'm like, the computers go dead too? Oh, wow. Okay, anyway.
We're cooking with gas still, though, everybody. We've still got all 4 of us. So
Yes.
Okay. Well, the Housewives, it wasn't really much of anything. I was listening to Candace, and I understand that Marlo, we all suffer from expecting people to do what we would do, right?
Yes.
But as an adult, you handle that better, and I feel like, to me, it just seemed contrived to be brought up now. When y'all was cool, you could have had that conversation. You could have had that conversation last year. But to act like every time somebody gets shot, it triggers you, bitch, you a lie. You be shocked all the time. I'm just saying, come on, keep it real. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the first incident at an OLG establishment that done had some shooting.
Yeah.
You wasn't triggered then? It don't know.
It's old. It is old. It is very old.
It's unnecessary. Y'all have to remind me what else happened in the show. Because your girl, Megan girl, she got a spa or something coming, right?
Excuse me. It's a salon. It's a full service Kenya Moore hair care salon. It's an exclusive upscale experience. There's going to be valet, bundles. You know, the ladies love bundles. She's going to give you all that you need. You're going to leave with a look, L-E-W-K, okay? It's going to be crystal chandeliers, white bar tops. Don't play around with Kenya Moore hair care.
Are you going?
I say this about her.
She's legacy. She's not going to come with.
No, it's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be fabulous.
Be a decorator. because she can decorate homes, but not her insides. She
All
can
right.
make other insides beautiful. Her insides are just the ugliest things to ever exist. That's just the problem. I'll give her credit all day. She know what to put on some bullshit and make it beautiful. She knows what to do. So that was something I was like, well, this is something she's doing, because I'm tired of Black hair care lines having endorsed people with mixed heritage talking about hair growth.
Speak on it.
Speak on
That
it.
has to stop. You have white grandparents, baby. That's why your hair is that way. That's why you have the privilege you have in the Black community, because of your hair.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Cut that shit and see a difference, Kenya.
Woo!
Yeah.
And y'all know she's the only woman who's had that length of hair and never cut it.
Oh, of course, she's never gonna cut that. That's her. That's the calling card, baby. That's what got her the Pantene Pro V deal. Okay.
Damn.
Now talk about privilege. You know how many Black women could have gotten a Pantene Pro? Nobody but Kenya Moore. You gotta have the bundles, baby. You gotta have the bundles. It's
And
gotta be flowing like Barbie.
And we love her for it. We've admired
Right.
it. You know,
Right.
so that was it. What else happened on there, y'all? Y'all got to remind me.
Excuse me for interrupting you all, because I'm staying here. I'm gonna stay on Kenya. Kenya also confided to the audience and anyone that would listen that her womb is still ready for another baby. Those eggs are ready to be cracked, scrambled. She is ready at the ripe old age of 52. And even the doctor gave her the, is this what you really want to do conversation, which I am not upset about. I'm here for geriatric pregnancy, team geriatric pregnancy, all about it. I found it interesting that we didn't, and I'm jumping around because we didn't go back to see what Elle had to say, that she's interested in taking this road with Mark, or choosing to use Mark's sperm. That's what I would like to consider for conversation, not her age necessarily, but even the doctor gave her the, like, you know, there's other options. If you really want to be a parent at this point, knowing you had a tumultuous marriage, you don't even like this man, you don't even talk, you can't even get any money from him. And then Kenya's only response was, which I thought interesting because I also watched the Kardashians, judge yourselves. Khloe Kardashian has these same conversations, so does Kim. And Kourtney did it one time too, which is allegedly some conundrum for women who have babies by one man and you still have some sort of relationship, even if it's a piecemeal relationship. The psychology around, do I want to have a whole nother baby or try to co-parent with a whole new person? Or should I try to just keep procreating with this gentleman that I'm already got a baby with and just make it work? In Kourtney's example, she popped out 3 with Scott. Kimberly Kardashian gave y'all 4 with the psychopath that is Kanye West. And Kourtney is up to her 2nd and a possible, because she's still fucking with Tristan. And their psychology, with the exception of Kourtney, who's now married to a whole other man, is the exact same. I'd rather just stay where I am. So when I heard Kenya say that, I thought, is this where we are as women? When you get to have a baby, you just stay with this man.
So I'm gonna tell you what I think. I think that's all BS. Kenya is 50-something years old. Kenya has those embryos. She doesn't have any more eggs. So she used the last of her eggs with those embryos with Mark. That's why she's saying that she wants to use those embryos, because the other option that Kenya has at the end of the day is to adopt or use those embryos. Period. We're not talking about somebody who is in their 30s, like the Kardashians, who have some eggs, right? We're talking about a 50-year-old plus woman who probably is going through menopause at this point. She don't have viable eggs. Let's keep it 100, because you know darn well she do not, after all that foolishness she went through with Mark, she don't really want to have no baby with Mark, but she ain't got no choice. And that's what I feel.
Yeah, I thought she was a whole clown for even having this be a scene. I just,
Why are you doing this to my kid?
girl, you want to have a baby with Mark, who you're still married to. You can't even divorce this man. And she looks beautiful, inside trash. The woman the doctor says how complicated the pregnancy was, even for your own personal health. Sis, what are you talking about? You will have these kids and they'll be without a mother because you might die. This whole conversation is silly.
It is.
Stop it. Stop it. I get that you have those embryos. Sister, donate them. Somebody else can use them. Or you know what? Use a surrogate. Get a surrogate.
Even with the surrogate candidate, she has to use her embryo. So what I'm saying is she don't have no more eggs left.
What?
So she can't use her eggs with somebody else because she don't even have any more eggs. The only eggs she has are the ones that are fertilized with
Mark.
With Mark, correct?
Well, if you don't want to destroy them or donate them, sis, get a surrogate and keep it pushing. But I think the larger thing is, honey, you about to do this again with Mark. You still want to be attached to this man that you currently cannot get attached from. You sound like a clown.
Yes.
You sound like a clown. Sorry.
That threw me. I just was like, I wouldn't even want it. I mean, but I don't have any children. So I watch these reality shows and I'm just like, well, maybe that's just the factor. Once you get impregnated by these men, they just get you all crazy in the head.
And
No, Kenya is fronting.
well, let me say this, because you brought up a good point, Megan, about this language around it's really I don't want to have kids by different baby daddies, or I don't want my kids to have different daddies. Listen, that happens all the time. You know, this whole thing about doing it the right way, you got to be married first. It's got to be by the same man. Man, forget all that shit. I'm sorry. Like, stop with that. Stop with that. Because what does it mean because all of your kids are by the same man? Y'all weren't married.
And you're still not together.
Right. So, like, we gotta stop that. Because then for people that do have different fathers, you know, we looking down on those ladies because you so happen to have, you know, it didn't work out with the first and you got with somebody new. We've got to get beyond this doing it the right way. And I think looking down on people because they have multiples. I'm sorry.
I agree. She's a clown. That's what I agree with.
And I'm not trying to be funny, but she is in her 50s. You know, when I think about raising children, particularly as you get older, right? Are you going to be around for that child for only a certain period of time in that child's life? And I think that part becomes very selfish sometimes because you want to have this baby so bad, but you're not thinking about what you're bringing to these children, right? And you being there for those children. So part of me is like, girl, you already got one. Brooklyn's beautiful. You already got all that drama going on with Brooklyn, you know, Brooklyn Daddy, not Brooklyn, but Brooklyn Daddy. And do you really want to, you know, push it and get some more drama with him? I also think he needs to consent to that because I think Mark has other children as well, too. Does he not? So does Mark really want to, in his 50s, I think that man going on 60, does he want to have, you know, some more children, right, as well, too, that he has to be concerned with? You know what I'm saying? And he already has some grown children, I think, and some other children as well, too. So I just think that she can't be selfish about it. If she really wants to have some companionship for Brooklyn, there are some other options, right? And Brooklyn's not an only child because Mark does have other children.
And it takes a village. I feel like sometimes in these conversations, I would like to see, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Elle, that was rude of me. I would like to see a storyline about geriatric pregnancies and like the positives. Like we always see it painted in such like a negative light. Woe is me. I ain't got no more eggs. I'm not gonna be around to see my children. There's a lot of positives that can come with having a child at a later age. And you're not alone. Like because Kenya is not, she's not a one of one. Kenya is, the fact that she has another woman, like we only got a hint of her that Brooklyn has a play date. You know what I'm saying? Like I would like to see more of these storylines of women thriving in these decisions that they have made and feeling that they are not collectively alone or like an island, because they're not. If you can find at least 1 to 2 on each one of these reality shows that are each in their geriatric pregnancy journeys, out here thriving and raising
Oh.
children. That to me is the obvious. Let's just stay right here in a positive light instead of I'm tired of the woe is me narrative. I gotta
Yeah, but
find.
she had a
like-
geriatric pregnancy, so we already saw that.
I'm sorry.
We saw Candy have 2 geriatric pregnancies.
She doesn't even show those damn kids. We saw Ace in a chicken commercial. Candy.
But
shows
I'm just saying, we saw that storyline though, man.
I push back that Candy is not a success story because the kids didn't want her to have them kids because Candy is too busy. Candy is not a parent. I mean, I'm not saying it like she's not a parent. I need to choose my words carefully.
Mhm.
Candy doesn't even focus her storyline around parenting. That's not even her shtick. Candy got about 4 or 5 kids we don't see. Candy talks about her businesses. Kenya talks about that baby. You know what I'm saying? Sonia sometimes talks about that baby. Drew talks about those babies. Candy don't talk about them babies. That's what I was gonna say. Go ahead.
I just want to say that Candy may talk about the babies, but the producers may not choose that to air.
Okay. And to that point, and to Veronica's point, both of those, why don't we see more play dates? Like, you know, that episode we got a smidge, like one of the 2 of the shows where Candy was on the phone with
Shamia and
right, and they were all at the party. All those women are in their
We
late
saw
30s.
those too. We saw Portia and Shamia on the
we
show
did it.
too,
That
and
was
those
my-
geriatric pregnancies as well too.
That's the only point, Veronica, which we're glancing over. We didn't see that. I push back as the audience. I would have liked to see the cameras at that party. Instead, we got Kenya on FaceTime. We got Candy telling us that's what's going on. And Candy talking about she's too busy to even show up. So I sent the babies. Nigga, what? I
might
want
be having fun. Portia had her show.
Hey, but guess what? Kenya was there, and she's so boring that they chose not to air the birthday party with a whole wig on. And they was like, no, we still don't want to air it. But we'll show Candy on the couch with Todd talking to you whole like this.
And that's what I'm saying, Pat. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm interested. I'm in the minority, maybe. I want to see the geriatric parenting journey. Like, what are Shamia and Portia and Kenya and all of them doing with them little kids? If y'all keep talking on the outskirts, it's so hard, but they're always doing some shit. I want to know. But instead of Candy is just too busy. She doesn't even show up for her own damn kids. She rents the bus, sends them on the bus, and then sits inside and drinks coffee and chicken and shit because she's rich. And
I think to Georgia's point, we can't, maybe the bigger audience doesn't want to see that, because let's go back to Kenya, because Kenya does have this story around like she doesn't have the best village. And that's why she always bringing Brooklyn around. We get mad because she won't film. This is why the bamming on the door. She gets her own villa when she goes on the trips. So you have this older woman that had a baby. She's alone. We see her journey, and we also hate her for that. At least I do. We hate her because, you know, she wants to get her own room, and it's all about Brooklyn, and she don't have a village. And girl, we want to see you film with the ladies.
Right.
No one's it.
Right.
Can I say something? I have been a single mother for 23 years. I've never had a nanny, nor the resources to have a private plane to bring in my nanny and me to the place we're going. So, bitch, you shouldn't miss nothing because you got a nanny with you. Oh, who you playing with? That's my thing with her. Come on now. And then, hold on now. Then we get a little glimpse in their life. And she's talking to her friends like Brooklyn runs in. She says something to Brooklyn. And she says, bye-bye, baby.
go with the nanny.
At your own house. Man,
Go with the nanny.
that's all she got, though. And I'm grateful that she has a daughter because that was a very big thing that a lot of women want. You know what I'm saying? And especially for her. So for her to have her daughter, I'm very happy for her. But the excuse she uses with Brooklyn, who that supposed to work with? And I'm mad that remember when Candy broke down crying, I got my son too, and I'm here, all that. But that was real though, because regardless of what anybody thinks, the mother guilt is unbelievable. You can do everything in the world. You can have a whole week you can have a month with your kids. They don't see that. They don't see that you was like, I'm taking these 2 weeks off and it's just gonna be me and my children, and I have so much to do. They don't see the so-called sacrifices or the joys to us working women. They don't see that. But everybody has an opinion. Everybody's like, you're not doing enough. You know what I'm saying? So that I get it. But when we on a reality show, you have a nanny, you use that baby as an excuse to not engage. That's what you do every time. And have fake attacks when you don't want to perform. That's what you do, you narcissist.
Dang.
Y'all do know she faked that attack, right? We all in agreement.
We on that. I don't know if May's in agreement with us, but yeah, me and Candace here.
Okay. Oh, Megan, you don't think she faked that attack?
Kenya Moore hair care had a respiratory infection. She had a fever, and mommying is hard. I don't even know. I can't even imagine what mommying is. It takes the toll on the body, the physical and the mental, and she needed her rest. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I have a
That's
question.
a diehard right there, y'all. That's what you call
Kenya
a
Moore
diehard.
I talk about how she read Marlo for Phil. She wouldn't get off Marlo's neck. I was thoroughly entertained. She wouldn't give Marlo an inch. Marlo said, I want out of toast. Get me out of toast because Kenya won't shut up. I was loving it.
Now, I did think Kenya was really, this is what I don't like about Kenya, right? This is enough. I don't like when she just gets gutter. You know what I'm saying? With her language against these other women. And she just really, what she said about Marlo, I'm like, Kenya, for you to be such a beautiful woman to hear all these nasty things coming out of your mouth, girl, that was just a little too much for me.
It was classes.
It was.
Yeah.
Classes.
Mhm.
That's what it was. It was absolutely classes, and she knew what she was doing.
Mhm.
And the platform she's on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bottom wrong, but you the bottom wrong been rung out by all these niggas in Hollywood that ran through your monkey ass talking about somebody. Oh, I just did not like that. Made me so mad. That hurt me for Marlo. And I ain't Marlo been monkey. She been monkey. But that right there, I knew what that was. That was like, oh wow.
It's so nasty. The Detroit comes out of her quickly. It's gross. It's for as beautiful as she is. To hear those words come out of her mouth, it's just disgusting. So let's talk about the brunch. The brunch was a highlight, I think, right?
The Gucci.
Yes, miss.
Now, my fashionista, tell me what you thought of the fashions that were fashions or no fashions. Tell me,
Let's
Megan.
get into it. Let's get right into it because I'm in the minority. I thought they all looked a mess with the exception of Sheree, which actually could have been better tailored. I loved the oversized blazer. Like the concept was beautiful. I'm not a big person personally into a bunch of labels. Similar to Kenya's point, like because it was a Gucci party, let me just lead with that. If you're going to have a Gucci themed party, you can do that without having the ladies rocking double G's head to toe. Like there's a plethora, trust me, of Gucci that's not off the runway. That's not, off the rack. You could have gotten an understated sweater and no one would have ever known it was Gucci except for those that were in the know. They could have gotten a tailored jacket. But the fact that all of them leaned into the double G's spoke volumes to me. Let me just say what I have to say there. All of them, even Marlo,
Marlo did not have on any G's.
He had on the trench. The trench had on the G logos. Yes, it did.
It was Python.
Marlo had the Python outfit on.
I thought Marlo had double G's. So the only two that I was going to give credit to were Sheree and Marlo. I loved Marlo's glasses. The shades were excellent. Everyone else I thought looked a hot fucking mess. I mean, steaming hot off the grill. I thought Candy looked like I don't know what Candy had on. And it frustrates me to my core because Candy has the most money and you would assume the most access to a quality stylist at this point. You've been on Broadway, you're heralded events all over the world. You perform. Why do you always look like you come straight out of the Gatjern Mall and you did it yourself? Like I'm so frustrated about it every time. She's too seasoned for this shit. So the fact that she showed up in a turtleneck and a bowler jacket, I was mortified. Drew looked like she got dressed in the dark. I don't understand. Or like she just told the closet, Sturry, pull out my Gucci. And Suri just threw shit on her, and then she ran out the house. It was awful. Sonya looked like she tried, but I thought that the suit was ill-fitting. It wasn't just wasn't my ministry. I didn't need white on white Gucci with the crop pant. And I didn't need all of that. And I'm not a big Sonya fan. I don't know. Maybe that's my bias. And who else was there? Who did I miss?
Kenya didn't. I don't think Kenya even wore Gucci, did she?
Kenya said that she did, but then she gave y'all the Chanel bag, and then she gave you no labels. So Marlo and Sheree,
She was watching the Chanel bag, so how did she not give you any labels?
that was her push. I'm talking about with the Gucci label. Remember, she pushed back to Sheree that I have on Gucci, but it's not. You just can't see
But the
Gucci.
Chanel was a label. That's what I'm saying.
Lies.
Fact. I didn't like the Chanel bag. I didn't like Kenya's look. And you know, I love Kenya. I didn't like Kenya's look. Oh, I didn't like Courtney's look. I was bored with whatever Courtney had.
I'm bored with Courtney, period. Why is she there?
I don't even remember what she had on. I'm with you. I love the Sheree. I thought Sheree looked good, and I saw Sheree on Instagram. She posted. I said, "You go, girl." I loved it. I liked Marlo. I liked Marlo's look. I love Marlo's glasses. Everybody else.
I love Marlo. Marlo gave you Gucci. I loved it without the logos. I actually liked Sheree's look. I thought that was appropriate for her. I love the blazer. I really liked Sonya's look. And Megan and I kind of talked about this, but I put Sonya's cream current suit against Marlo's its vintage Gucci suit, which again, sis, yeah, maybe you did get it from Gucci 20 or 30 years ago, but you're on a reality show. And if you are a fashionista, I'm sorry, I do want to see what's the latest runway, sample size, what can I get now? Because if it's aspirational for the people that's into that, right? But I want to see something, and that is what Sonya gave you. And Sonya is a size, which Marlo says, I can go the couture rack. I'm in the extra small. I'm putting it on. It's good. She gave you fresh new Gucci, which is what, I think these women should be doing. And then when you paired it with a Chanel bag, like, girl, if you weren't going to do it, then just don't do it. Don't come in here. It really is Gucci. Girl, we can't tell. You didn't even do it with Gucci purse. You're tired. I hate it. Candy was just blah to me. She gives Candy. That's what she gives. Again, she can afford it. I'm sure that button down was thousands of dollars, but girl, it just wasn't cute.
It was a waste of time.
And it wasn't appropriate for the function either.
Right. Never appropriately dressed.
Yeah, it was too casual for.
Too casual. Yes, that's the word. I hated Drew's look. Drew gave me, I got my Gucci off of Canal Street. And girl, there's a life, there's a life. But like, it didn't even look real Gucci to me. Like, what was that jacket, sis?
It was too much. It was just too many labels. I was like, oh my God, did she get?
I was
Gucci?
somewhat okay with Courtney because she obviously didn't maybe have a full Gucci look. So she had some Gucci accessories. That's what I would have rolled up in there with: a belt, a handbag. Girl, if that's what your budget can have, then you paired it with some solids, no label. Maybe they were from Zara, and you had your Gucci accessories. Even if they were a little dated, like, I thought that it was cute for maybe what was in her budget. So I thought it was appropriate when it came to the fashion. I think that's everybody.
I think we got everybody.
Yeah.
So what y'all think of the brunch, though? The actual We Gucci brunch to solve some issues.
It solved nothing. Sheree couldn't even muster a real cry. And we've already established that Kenya ethered everyone, and y'all said that she looked awful. It made her soul look awful. So I think that was essentially the brunch. They didn't even leave with any genuine resolve. They didn't.
Oh, they didn't.
I was
Courtney
happy
and
that
Candy
Marlo
got cool.
Oh yeah, Courtney Handy did. Yeah.
See, they were technically cool after Beat the Bomb when Courtney went out. I like Courtney. I prefer her over Sonya and Monyetta at this point.
Monyetta wasn't even there.
I didn't even miss her.
Right? Did y'all peep that too? That Moyetta wasn't there? I said, ooh.
Yeah, we all did. Nobody's missing her her
No.
repeating of things we already know. Oh, I love the fact. I'm interjecting one more time. When Candy told Sonya, "I don't need you to repeat," because I was thinking the same thing. And Sonya kept trying to woman-splain what Marlo was saying. Sometimes people just don't agree with what somebody else is saying, and Sonya kept trying to go in. What she's saying, Candy, is she wanted you to give her flowers. She wanted you to be there, Candy. Candy knows. She didn't give a shit. Shut your face. Shut your pie hole, Sonya. Go
Oh,
screw your fine husband.
then we go deep on Candy. That was so kind of sad to me. It's sad with Candy. I mean, when she talks about, I don't know if it was at the brunch, but when she talks about, I lost my brother at a young age, and she doesn't have the sensitivity of like compassion, or it was like sad to me, like, damn. But at the, she cries at the smallest little thing. Like her reactional emotion is to cry in this sadness. Even when she's mad, she cries, and it's just like, but you cannot extend compassion. Like, you're not that woman at all. And is it because you didn't resolve or didn't work through that grief? And I don't know that grief, and that's a lifelong grief, I would assume. But there's something there with Candy, around extending compassion and being there in her own life, stuff that she's dealt with.
Yeah, I almost feel like it goes back to the point that I think you mentioned earlier about her not being a girl's girl. I just think she doesn't have compassion for women.
I would push back on all that. I think Candy is totally opposite of what you all just said. And Candy is actually the one that has long-standing friends. She still is friends with those girls from high school still. I just don't think that some people just don't react, like the point that you all made earlier, in the same way that you want them to. We saw that Marlo went to Candy's home. Candy didn't shut the door in her face and say, "I don't have time for this. I'm running my OLG." She welcomed her. Riley was there. They had a full conversation. She walked over to Marlo and gave her a hug. If in fact Marlo wanted more than that, that is a separate conversation. But just to blanket Candy and say she's not a girl's girl, she doesn't know how to have fun, I don't agree with any of that at all, actually. I really don't. And of all of the women on the show, Candy has long since proven that she can be a friend on the show to those ladies and off the show to her girlfriends in real life. She's even been a friend to Marlo. And this isn't the first time Marlo shat on Candy. But Candy continuously gives Marlo opportunities and extends a hand and defends Marlo. Candy was one of her biggest champions to get her on the show. And Marlo had shat on her in the past. And Todd and them were like, "You need to leave Marlo alone." And Candy was the only one. I fool with her. I'll still ride for Marlo. I just feel that some women, like you all said earlier, are not, and we're adults. Not everybody is going to be the same type of friend that you expect them to be at all times.
Yeah.
But you should look for the joys and the good in those people if you want to call them a friend. And I feel if you want to look for the good in Candy, there's in spades, Candy does. She's still besties with Tiny. Like, are we serious? Candy is a friend. I would totally disagree.
I don't know if I agree with that, because I don't like how she did Phaedra. I just think she did.
Phaedra's not a friend. Who the fuck does Phaedra hang out with? Veronica? Elle.
She did Phaedra dirty, man.
Horrible.
What she did was she abandoned Phaedra.
Yeah.
That's what she did. And then she apologized and thought that was cool enough. Because if somebody, this is how Candy thought about that situation, but I think Candy is a girl's girl, but she's guarded, and rightfully so. She was in a girl group where she was vilified by the two sisters for years. That was hell. Okay, she had to deal with that. Then she fucking Jermaine Dupri and his dad, and she had to deal with. She the cut of the industry. Okay, then she out here dating niggas, and she get pregnant by Block. You know what I'm saying? And he got 15,000 women. You feel what I'm saying? So she looked at it as a side hoe. So women ain't really receptive. Okay, so she's dealt with that. But I feel like if you're her friend, she got your back. She a Taurus. She got your back if you her friend. So that's why I Carmen and all the rest of them.
Say it again, Georgia. Say it again. If you are her friend,
The Candy
Right.
Coat.
He took all them to Turks and Caicos for like the 5th time. Candy is if you are in her friend group, you Gucci. Now that's a
Yeah.
friend. I would love for Candy if we were friends of all the women on the show. I would love her to be my friend in real life. Candy puts you on to business opportunities,
Yeah.
travels the world with you, speaks your name in spaces where you're not in,
Yeah.
and that's a friend.
Yeah.
Now that is not the same type of friend that Marlo is describing that would sit around and send you flowers and furnish your funeral. That is
No.
also an example of a friend, but that's not what Candy was providing.
That's not what Candy gonna do.
She's not doing that.
That's not
But
what she
Candy got you on this show, so you're not, screwing a white man again for another season, so you can pay for that townhouse. Yes, she did. She got you on the show. She and
A
Todd.
townhouse paid for. Don't do her.
That's a friend. Okay, put some
She got
coins in your account.
And look, Marlo told you she's invested well, honey. So
I'm like Kenya.
we'll say that.
I understand that that's part of the show,
Yeah.
but they get on my nerves with counting each other's money because and it is my thing that shows you're poor. Because if you know anything about money, at any time, money can go, anything can happen. So why even have that? That's why Candy don't talk about money.
Yeah.
Because she got money. I feel like the bitches with no money are always talking about money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Candy
Yeah.
got it. That is true. The Candy got it, point blank, period.
But Candy is the one that keeps saying, "How's Marlo getting her money though?"
now that
Candy-
she's mad,
Yeah, she's
now
ready
that
to-
she's mad though, it's
Yeah,
like
she's
you
not
keep
trying to
coming for
help.
me. So
Mhm.
let's talk. And that pissed me off with Candy. That pissed me off. Bitch, how dare you bring up her cutting anybody? Are we really gonna talk about some shit that we found out 12 years ago?
Right.
Why would you bring that up again?
Right.
It was real lame. It was just real lame.
It was.
I agree. I'm over it too. I'm tired of them talking about Marlo and her cutting that whatever, the girl. I'm tired of it too. They need to drop that.
Unless
Yeah.
you cut somebody last week, I don't want to hear about it.
Right. I don't want to hear it. I'm with you. I don't want to hear that. I mean,
And y'all be talking a whole bunch of shit. If somebody was cutting bitches' faces, I wouldn't be popping nothing in Marlo's face.
Yeah. If they truly believe that she was that woman that they like to describe, they would not be, yeah. Kenya would have not called her a gutter bitch at a toast.
Exactly.
She
Exactly.
really thought that Marlo ran the way they speak of her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why it's sad, right? Which is like, let it go, girl, please.
Can
And
we
I think-
have some fun? Can we write into them and say, hey, next season, because this season is over with. Okay, next season, can you have some bitches that got any joy and want to enjoy life and help each other and thrive? That's what we want to see. Helping each other thrive in life. We don't want to keep seeing this dumbass, dumb bitch shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we want to see cute shade, we don't want to see this type of stuff, you know?
It's getting
Like,
too dark.
That's
Mhm.
getting too dark. And I miss the old housewives when Nene got kicked out of the party. You know, that kind of shade. That she didn't have any fashions in her fashion show. We know her butt don't have no money and don't have no business skills, right? I want to see that kind of stuff. I want to see, you know, the fun, light, cute stuff. Or Phaedra lied about the fact that she knows she was pregnant before she got married, right? Like that kind of fun, cute stuff. Not this dark, you know,
Get out.
I'm coming for Candy. I'm coming for, you know.
Yeah, why we coming for each other every episode?
Every
Hey,
episode.
Candy?
And I really do. I mean, I really like Candy. I grew up an Escape fan. Like, I'll probably never not truly like Candy. But I hate to see her so upset and I'll headbutt that bitch. Like, I hate
Yes, stop this
girl.
shit.
That's not. I don't believe that's you. Like,
No, that's her.
That's
No,
her. She needs to
that's
get off.
her.
No,
see it. I don't
because
want.
it's making her look bad. And I had this conversation with May off the camera, but this is one thing I will say to Candy. If Candy ever watches this, girl, swallow your pride and get your ass off this damn show, because this show makes you look terrible for where you're trying to go in life. And I'm rooting for Candy. I want Candy to go all the fabulous places because she's talented. I want her to go to all the fabulous places that she's going to go in life. I'm rooting for her and Todd because everybody try to throw shade. I'm rooting for her and Todd, right? I think this show, particularly this season, is starting to make her look terrible. And she wants to be an Tony Award winner. Like, come on, girl, you can't be bucking with Marlo and you're up for a Tony, baby. I mean, this is so beneath you in that sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, she needs to move on. She really does. I mean, it's not doing anything for her image. It really isn't.
I think they're gonna let her go too because it isn't bringing anything. She's the highest paid housewife, and she's not the most liked housewife. That was reserved for Nene. Nene got the big check because she was the most liked, most everything housewife. Candy, we like you, but you should be making about $8.95. You know, you shouldn't even make the meal. You know what I'm saying? Just keeping it real. Just keeping it real. And none of that. I don't want to do that, but I'll give Megan girl a meal. You feel what I'm saying? Because she has that ability to.
She shows up to work.
She what?
She shows up to work.
She don't show up to work. She hadn't been showing up.
I'm sorry. Kenya carried that whole last episode. I don't care what y'all say. Between the fertility concerns, between the Kenya Moore hair care, Brooklyn is my everything, and then she showed up to Toast with no Gucci in the Chanel, and then dragged Marlo for filth. Y'all would not have had an episode because that episode had no. Oh, Drew showed up for work too. I forgot we didn't mention that Drew did the body roll on Ralph. Remember when Ralph got shirtless? They showed up to work, baby. You want black love? Drew and Ralph gave you black love, honey. That director and choreographer said, signaling your husband, we need a stand-in. And Drew said, hey, baby, the model that I've secured, we don't have the funds. We now need you to come in. Are you ready, Drew? And Drew said, not Drew, what's his name? Ralph. He took his shirt off and he showed you his man chest, or his granddaddy chest, his older man chest. And he let her roll all over him. I thought that was quality television. They showed up to work. It was the first. They got the first half, and Kenya drove it home for the second.
Your standards, Marlo showed up for work too. Marlo been the only one showed up for work then.
Marlo kept getting talked over and crying in the parking lot of Toast. I wasn't even here for Marlo. She gonna let Kenya run her out of Toast. And I've been to Toast. Toast is not that big. It's fabulous. Y'all should go if you're watching and you get to Atlanta. Fabulous spot. But it's too tiny for them to be arguing and cutting up like that. I mean, the whole restaurant heard them. Too tiny. Too tiny. And she got ran out of Toast. Had Sheree running behind her, calling after her. I was mortified.
I was glad she left. I would have got up too.
Mm-hmm.
You would have left?
That's where I was with it. I was like, I'm not even proud of Marlo and her behavior a lot of times this season, but I just, with Kenya, it's just always, we're going to go there. But if you go there with her, oh my God, you've done the most horrible thing in the world. And it's like, oh God, no. Kenya Moore, as a person from Atlanta, born in Atlanta, as a Black woman, I want to start a petition to get her off the show because I just do not want to see her in that capacity. Like she asked nothing. She asked nothing. I know that she your girl, but you're not even from Atlanta. You add nothing. I'm sick of these. When she first came, it wasn't her season. It was when Claudia came on. She was like, the thirst is real. Because they was all flying. They was all bringing all these hoes from LA and everywhere else to come to Atlanta to be on a show about women from Atlanta. And her career had completely fell off. Kenya Moore, nobody gave a damn. Nobody had her as the hoe on shows no more. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't that girl. Okay, how many menage a trois? She done did about 6 of them. Like, come on, man. So I'm just saying, please, somebody come marry this bitch and get her the hell away from my TV screen. Get her own reality show. So all the Kenya stand, because she has so many fans, many stands that love her. Let's see if she does well on her own show.
I'd watch the Kenya Moore show. She in Brooklyn.
You'd be the only one.
And I wouldn't.
Out of this four.
No, that's fine.
I know her. I know her, me, and her will not be.
I'd watch that.
Nope.
All right, any more final thoughts? Because I think we have beaten this dead horse because that show didn't do much of anything. But I love the new format. I loved us talking about other things. I did want to add before my final thought, you know what I think about Housewives. Some shows for recommendations that I think everyone should check out. And everyone, I mean you three, so we can continue talking about them. I love the Bell Collective. Carlos King, if you ever watch this or any of our future episodes, sir, you struck gold. That is your your magnum opus, sir. I feel like it is a slept-on show. Conceptually, it delivers. Women in a podunk, Jackson, Mississippi, making it happen as entrepreneurs, and it shows you the reality of them trying to navigate their relationships and interpersonal relationships. It to me is what the original Housewives could have been if it wasn't so storified and glamorous. Jackson is not Atlanta. It is not the OC, but it's still a quality show with great city interaction. I love it. So Bell Collective, check that one out. Love that show. And they're doing really good things this season as far as storyline. Not boring at all. And I'm also here for this new season of Love and Hip Hop. Y'all know it.
Oh yeah.
And Scrappy. So
Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta.
Yeah, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta.
Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, yes.
So maybe we'll talk about that one day. Final thoughts, anyone else?
Well, I want to say Bambi don't need to be with Scrappy. Scrappy need him a real one. So that's what I want to say about that. But anyway, yeah.
Georgia, not the BAM? You're not feeling the BAM?
So you on team Mama D?
I love the BAM.
Megan loves the BAM.
I love the BAM as the BAM, but don't be stupid. As a woman, I did the whole problem she has is not a problem for a real woman. Nigga, the money that come in this house, I know what money come in this house. I'm paying the bills. Every woman I know that a man make the majority of the money, they pay the bills. What are we talking about? I was waiting on him to pay his half. What kind of bullshit is that? If you know that man not good with paying bills, you do that. Why the hell is that an argument?
This is what I said.
Y'all said that?
No, what I said was I don't understand how she's paying the bills and didn't know that he wasn't paying. That don't make no sense to me. Like, if you are managing the household bills,
how you only pay half?
Did you miss that? That don't make any sense to me.
I think that maybe she misspoke. She didn't miss it. She is missing the money.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Megan, but she agreed to that. She agreed to that process, which is dumb, which is stupid, which is not grown. If he always not paying the bills. You've been with him 10 years and he always not paying the bills. Then bitch, you should have got the bills and be like, hey, all the money in our account. There's no way I would be with anybody married to them, living in a home, and not have access to how their money is coming in. Yes, you need to see that money. We can get an account, and there's too many people here. There are spreadsheets on your computer where your money go in for the house automatically. So that's some bullshit. She just like to complain. She miserable. She ain't doing shit with herself. The bitch get mad about everything. Fuck you, bitch. I can't stand that shit. And I like Bambi. That's what made me mad. I can't believe she going out like this. That's how I feel. I'm sorry.
I did not see this coming in their marriage because
me neither.
This was her personality to be.
I thought she was down.
Yeah.
And what she really mad about is that he was talking to Diamond. That's it, period.
That's
it ain't got nothing to do with no bills and nothing else.
She mad about Diamond. She mad about all the little stuff Scrappy got going on, talking to other folks. And again, I'm with Georgia. I don't understand. And this is what I said. How is it that you managing the finance? You sit here and say you managing the finances, right? But you are getting that check. Most women that manage the finances, right? That man dropped that check off. They pay those bills, and then they go give you what's left over, right? For you to spend on whatever you're going to spend it on. So that didn't make any sense to me. So I was side-eyeing that too. I don't think she was paying them bills either.
Well, clearly nobody was paying them because I was shocked to learn on the show that they were renting at their big age and public figure status, renting in that home that they presented on television that, well, he presented like he had bought it for her. I was so confused and brokenhearted because, and it's going a little over time, but just in my ignorance, we all are the safe space. I would ignorantly think that two public figures that have been on television for over a decade now, because it's been about a decade between Love and Hip Hop, Couples Therapy, Love and Hip Hop, when they do those, pulling in the reunions, you're getting a check at every turn, right? So in my ignorance, I'm thinking there's some sort of mutual kitty, right? Do y'all not have like 50,000 in it? I don't know what couples have that are public figures, right? But just enough to pay the bills. Like y'all don't have a kitty that would pay a mortgage or that would pay like basic bills. So when she was complaining, this isn't the first turn that Bambi was complaining about the bills. She's been complaining now for about 3 different shows. Honestly, she complained in Couples Therapy that Scrappy doesn't like to adult, and then she complained in another season of Love and Hip Hop, which I pointed out in a sidebar conversation. Erica Dixon used to make the same complaints about Scrappy's behavior back in the day when we first met Scrappy and Erica on Love and Hip Hop version 1.0 when they were in Atlanta. They lived in like an apartment. Remember? They lived in Erica's apartment. And that was mind blowing to the audience because Scrappy was the bigger figure. Remember? Scrappy was the nuck if you buck. He was the bigger figure, but he was living in Erica's smaller apartment. And Erica was complaining even then, Scrappy don't pay bills. I'm taking care of the baby by myself. Scrappy never home. So 10 years later, 3 more kids, new woman, same scenario. I don't think it's Bambi is the problem. Consider maybe it's Scrappy.
No, Scrappy is irresponsible. But one thing that I will say, and maybe Georgia can speak to this as an entertainer, the way that entertainers are paid is different than you having a 9-to-5 type job.
That doesn't stop you from having a savings account, Veronica.
No, but just hear me out. Just hear me out on this, though. Hear me out on this. So what I'm trying to say, no. Hear me out on what I'm trying to say, though. What I'm trying to say is because entertainers are paid in lump sums, and then they're paid sporadically, depending, on their shows, depending on royalties, etc. They're paid differently, so that money has to stretch for an extended period of time that doesn't happen the same way as somebody who's getting a check every 2 weeks, you know what I'm saying, or twice a month or whatever. So what I will say is you can't necessarily expect that man to have, and that's why I think I said that when I made the comment about her managing that money, the way that I would have thought about it is if you're managing the household bills, you would have, when that check hits, you're paying for all the stuff that you need to pay up, right? So I know a lot of entertainers will pay their rent a few months, right, in advance because they may not get a check for another 6 months, right? So they pay it, when they get that money and then when that money hits. So I'll let Georgia, because Georgia, I know you're an entertainer, so you can speak a lot more to this. But I'm just gonna throw that out.
I was just looking for the House of Shimmer's actual address. It doesn't exist. You remember when they had yeah. What money you bringing to the store? What money you bringing to the house, Bambi? That's my problem. That's my issue. I'm an artist, so I know how our money comes. Just you are absolutely right. So I could get the big ass house because I just did a whole summer and I made $300,000. So I could put $125,000 on this. I can do that right now. But in 2 months,
right?
I'm waiting on the fall jam or the fresh fest. So you know what I'm saying? Like, shout it. And if you ain't got no song on the radio, you ain't made it big like Drake. Scrappy never made it big like that. Yeah. Never. Even though he was number 1, you got 3 number 1 hits, not 3 number 1 albums.
Right.
So
royalty money. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's different. So Love and Hip Hop is how they get their exposure now to book them for walkthroughs and all of that. I'm with you, Megan, on, dang, y'all been on this shit 10 years. Just with guest appearances, walkthroughs, and the show, you only get $15,000, $25,000 for that show, Megan. You know that.
I also know everyone can get a savings account. So what both of y'all are saying does not invalidate my point. I think you all have beautiful points. I just point out two grown adults with two options for income. It's not like they were both unemployed for 10 years. That's all I'm submitting. I was shocked that they didn't have, and they're public figures. So they could potentially, to your example, both examples, you could potentially make more than most people's salaries if you had a big year, you know, maybe when what the peak.
But at the same time,
their-
Megan, your
of their
expenses
hosting.
your expenses are more. Why? Because you're a public figure. So you got to have this, that, and this and that. So your expenses are more. Where's my savings? How can I save?
Oh.
And I'm saying again, bitch, you can't say nothing about him being bad with money. Bitch, you bad with money. Y'all married. Y'all supposed to take up the slack. When you get with somebody, my baby's not good in this, so let me handle the money. My baby's, he's good at that, so make sure he does that. But she's a dumb, complaining bitch that don't want to take no accountability for her own life. I'm so mad. I thought she was much better than that. I just thought she was much better than that. I just did. I put too much on her. I gave her too much credit.
Yeah. I did too.
You're gonna have to spice this one up. I want to do a whole separate conversation around Love and Hip Hop. I really love this season. I want to do Spice.
Woo!
Because Erica Mena thinks she's the only single scorned woman, and I'm so sick of her complaining about Safari. Let's talk about agency. She's
But
a
she already
poster.
got a child. So that's the other part that annoys me with Erica Mena's foolishness.
God.
Erica Mena already had a child.
He's like 16. So if anyone knows about deadbeat dads, ma'am, you do.
Went through this.
You know, that's gonna be a potential.
That's what gets on my nerves with Erica Mena.
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all what he did, y'all. As a victim of this, he love bombed her. They was on a reality show about a horror show shit, and when he came in and seen her, he love bombed the shit out of her. She tried to get away from me, get away. I mean, she tried, man.
I forgot about that.
He would not let up. He had like he had met Jesus in a female form, shouty. I'm telling you how he loved bomb that girl. And a woman like that who seeks validation, everybody wants the dream. Everybody wants the love. You're going to actually give it to me and you a nigga in the game so you know what I'm dealing with. We going to be able to be reality everything. And then he's like, I'm tired. I'm finna go home right now.
And see, that's how a lot of women get messed up, because that's exactly what happens. Like, these dudes want you when you are the shiny new hot girl object to them, right? And then when them babies come, they like, oh yeah, I'm done. Cheers.
He ain't gotta have no baby. They can just be tired. Just like,
They found a new hot new young one.
Because they've conquered you. And that's such a sobering, deflating thing, which I think she's still struggling with. Erica needs therapy, obviously, but I just don't want this to be her. I don't need her to die on this hill. Like, ma'am, you're going to have to let it go. Safari doesn't want you. You got divorced now. Let's move on. I need you to get a hobby. She should do something. You know, I'm ready to see her do anything. Take up knitting. She should hike, do something.
But this is the thing, Megan, you got to think about it. First off, I have 2 children by you, so I have to constantly have some type of contact with you. Mm-hmm. She ain't at the point where we meet at the nanny take and meet you at the grocery store. She ain't at that point. Plus, he got that python. So that is what is really, man, once you don't have a stick like that, it's hard to go to regular stick.
I can imagine.
It's hard. And I know that's what's really fucking up. Like, I thought I had found the final frontier.
She gets welled up in tears every time she talks about him. I'm like, girl, what did he do to you?
Honor.
Python.
Yeah.
He put it on her.
Nikki had him for 12 years. You know. I'm a Sag. Nikki a Sag. I'm gonna take a nigga around the world for 12 years on payroll.
Payroll.
Oh,
she even had him on the stage. You knew Nikki was sprung when she let him on the stage, and that one time Safari was doing a jig.
Yes.
He must have the monster dick.
He do. Cause he ain't got no bad report. If he had bad dick, it would have been out here. They would have ran. They would have been happy to tell. But hey, all the hoes he'll mess with, ain't nobody got nothing to say.
Nobody said anything about his penis. That's very true. Very true.
Wow.
So we're gonna be talking about Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Yay!
Yeah,
love
we
Love
love
and
hip-hop.
All right, ladies, that's it for the final thoughts. We have done a whole hour and a half, and I love talking with you. We're going to come back for another quick roundup. Maybe not so quick, but we're going to talk about Summer House Martha's Vineyard. So stay tuned. And we're going to bring you all some more juicy content on this channel. So be sure to like and subscribe. Tell a friend. We're looking forward to seeing you all every week. So have a blessed one, ladies. Until next time, y'all have a great one. More blavo, blavo, blavo. Bye.
Bye.
Peace.